Amir and Zahir were more than friends. They were brothers. From the moment they could walk, they were inseparable. The villagers often joked that if you saw one, the other wasn't far behind. They shared everything: dreams, laughter, even their struggles. Amir ran a small shop in the heart of the village, while Zahir worked tirelessly on his family's farm. Life wasn't easy, but they had each other, and for them, that was enough. But life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. A storm was brewing, one neither of them could see coming. One summer evening, Zahir came to Amir with worry etched across his face. His farm was struggling, his crops failing, and he needed help. Without hesitation, Amir lent him money to keep things afloat. Weeks passed, then months. Amir waited for Zahir to repay him, or at least acknowledge the debt, but Zahir said nothing. What Amir didn't know was that Zahir was drowning in his own troubles. His farm demanded more than he could give, and he felt ashamed he couldn't repay his friend yet. Amir's patience wore thin. To him, silence felt like betrayal. One day, frustration got the better of him. In the middle of the bustling village square, Amir confronted Zahir in front of everyone. "You've taken advantage of my kindness." Amir's voice trembled with anger. Zahir froze. The words stung more than he could admit. "And you think so little of me," he shot back, his voice cracking with hurt. "That you'd humiliate me like this?" The villagers stopped in their tracks, watching as years of friendship unraveled before their eyes. Neither man could see past their own pain, and so they turned their backs on each other. Days turned into weeks. The once unbreakable bond between Amir and Zahir now felt like a distant memory. Amir buried himself in his shop but couldn't escape the ache in his chest. He missed Zahir's laughter, the way they used to sit under the old oak tree and talk about everything and nothing. Zahir spent long nights on his farm under the stars, wondering if Amir missed him too, but pride kept both men from reaching out. The villagers whispered about their fallout, saddened by what had happened to two men who had been like brothers. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, an old traveler arrived in the village square. His presence was quiet yet commanding. His eyes seemed to hold a wisdom that drew people in. He began speaking to those gathered around him. "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing," he said softly, "there is a field. I'll meet you there." The words hung in the air like a melody, simple yet profound. Amir heard them as he closed his shop for the day. Zahir heard them too as he walked back from his fields. Neither man knew why those words struck something deep within them, a longing for peace they hadn't realized they carried. The next morning, both Amir and Zahir found themselves drawn to the old traveler by some invisible force. "I carry a burden," Amir admitted quietly when he approached him. "So do I," said Zahir from behind him. The traveler smiled knowingly. "Come with me," he said simply. He led them out of the village toward an open plain, where wildflowers swayed gently in the breeze, and birds sang without care for human troubles. "This is your field," he said when they arrived, "a place where pride cannot exist and forgiveness can grow." Then he left them alone. At first, neither man spoke. They sat in awkward silence, side by side, but worlds apart. But as time passed, something shifted. They began to notice the beauty around them, the way sunlight danced on the flowers, how the wind carried whispers of peace. Finally, Amir broke the silence. "I miss our friendship," he said softly, his voice heavy with regret. "So do I," Zahir replied, tears welling in his eyes. "I never meant to hurt you." Their words were few but enough to melt away weeks of anger and pride. In that field, beyond ideas of right or wrong, they found what they had lost: understanding. When they returned to the village together later that day, it was as though a storm had passed and left behind clear skies. The villagers smiled knowingly as they saw Amir and Zahir laughing again under the old oak tree, their bond stronger than ever before. From that day forward, whenever disagreements arose between them or others in the village, Amir and Zahir would remind themselves of what they had learned. "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing," they would say with a smile, "there is a field." And they would meet there, not with words but with hearts open to understanding.